Somebody lovingly referred to my treadmill work as down and dirty work. So I like to call it pragmatic professionally. So I'm interested in exercise in particular in Parkinson's disease. And for the last year, I've been looking in particular at treadmill training. So the background, if I say physiotherapy or exercise, this is what pops up in most people's mind. This is one of the dullest exercises in the physiotherapy arsenal. You've probably been given it. I have feelings about it. It is not particularly useful. It is not functional. And in Parkinson's, our exercise needs to be functional. This is how I like to brand exercise. Hard work, weighted, looking slightly uncomfortable. I can't feel my referral rate shooting up as I advertise my services here. But treadmill training is one of those functional exercises that we can use to help in Parkinson's. It's been shown to improve walking speed, balance, and in some cases better than outdoor walking. The issue is, two issues. It's debated exactly why it works. Physios are pragmatic, we don't really care, it works, we'll do it. But we haven't done it because all these exercise studies are done 3 to 5 times a week in a laboratory. As an NHS clinician, I don't have that facility to offer you, I do apologise. But also most of my patients, if I tell you to get on a treadmill 5 times a week, you will politely not do it and tell me where I can stick that idea. And I kind of agree. So as a team, we worked out, we want to try this. We want to make it accessible to our patients. And we decided to do a little pilot. We experimented, we took the protocol from the research. We did 10 patients in the city centre. And we did the same treadmill work, but we did it once a week for 6 weeks, far more NHS compatible and patient friendly. And it sort of worked. We did walking speed, and walking speed still improved. And it improved significantly enough for us to get a little bit more funding. The side effects were people tended to carry on going to the gym. They made some friends at the gym. There was a reduction in falls. And our patients said, this is a good idea, and that's all I need to carry on. So we got funding for a year and to roll it out county-wide. And this is what it looked like. This is a lovely sketch done by one of our patient relatives. That is my colleague Beth, modelling a patient on the treadmill, who I'd like to say has a massive smile on his face, and as it's the back of his head, you can't disagree with me. Our inclusion criteria, it was the earlier stages of Parkinson's. Patients had to be independently mobile indoors without a walking aid. And that's because we are putting people on treadmills. And if you have a walking aid, chances are it's both risky for you and for us as your therapists. You had to be safe to be able to undertake cardiovascular exercise, because we do get your heart rate up, and able to follow verbal instructions. Now, those criteria are quite broad, but that, again, sort of reflects our work. We weren't particularly interested in a precise cognitive score. We just wanted you to know that we could talk to you and you'd be able to stop if we said stop. Big chart. Summary is 39 patients took part and completed the whole thing, okay? We offered it to more, and what's really interesting to me as a clinician is those that didn't actually take part through the whole project. And one of the biggest reasons, one was the location of an exercise facility, because if you haven't got something local to you, why would you do it? And the second one was actually exercise adherence and exercise tolerance. Some people just couldn't do 5-minute blocks of exercise on a treadmill. Although they come in and we think they look pretty good in our clinic, when you actually get them on a treadmill, they really struggled, and it just wasn't a viable option. So 39 took part, completed the block. We did 3-month and 6-month follow-up. And this is what we found. Basically, it still went up, promising. So after 6 weeks, our gait speed had increased, and increased significantly. At 6 months, it had stayed up, but just not quite so much. But what's interesting to me, the little tails that are pointing out the bottom, from baseline to 6 months, they've reduced quite a lot. And that 1 metre per second line in the middle, if you're below that line, you're at risk of falls. So a lot of our patients at the beginning were actually slow enough that they were at risk of falls. At 6 months, that number had reduced. So An incidental little pointer there. We looked at balance. Balance got better. It's not a great outcome measure, that's the truth of it, but it was actually, it's again, very functional. But balance improved. And if you think about walking on a treadmill, that makes sense. Just the more you practice walking, the better your balance will be. So they were the primary findings. But we also had to look at a few other things, one of which was heart rate and exercise intensity. So we walked people at a slow speed, their normal speed, and a fast speed. When they're walking at a slow speed, their heart rate was about 64% of their maximum, and they felt they were working 6 out of 10. 100%, you can see it goes up. 115%, so walking fairly niftily, they're at 72%. And the reason that matters is because we know in Parkinson's you have to exercise with your heart rate, ideally 65 plus, going up to 85% of your maximum heart rate, to get those chemicals in your head which will help with the neuroprotection and the neuroinflammation that's going on. What's interesting is the perceived exertion, because sometimes people's heart responses aren't quite textbook. So we used reported exertion. So we were getting patients exercising to the right level, so that was really good to know. The other bit that was interesting to me is community exercise. Where did we end up doing this? Okay? Gyms. Everyone thinks of the council gyms, ideally full of young people covered in lycra doing this in a mirror. Okay? That is not where I operate. I do go to some of those, but gyms look different, okay? That top one is Charlbury Community Centre. It's a sports... Oh! Thank you, well done, Charlbury. It's a sports hall, and they have a selection of equipment. They just wheel out for a couple of hours a day, and people can go and use it. It's a mobile gym. It's fabulous. The second one down is Oxrad Leisure Centre in Marston. This is a disability access gym. It's designed... Hello. It's designed for people with wheelchairs. So it's for wheelchair users up to the football club that exercise next door. So a really versatile facility. And the bottom one is one of those lycra-clad facilities. It's Pure Gym. But if you have Parkinson's disease, you are given a free membership to Pure Gym. There are loads and loads of options. So we operate anywhere that's got a treadmill. We also have an NHS treadmill in Wallingford Hospital. We did a lot of sessions there. And a couple of people even had one at home. And we looked at adherence. So I was interested, what percentage of our group was still exercising on their treadmill at 3 months? And what percentage were just exercising? Because as a physio, all I want is movement, really. And at 3 months, you can see the figures. 35, 23% were still treadmill training. But that last column is really what I care about, is are my patients exercising? 68% at 3 months, phenomenal. 6 months, 47%. And although that's only 47%, research shows that if we go and stop any person on the street outside, if I ask them to increase their exercise levels, at 6 months' time, 50% of them would be doing it, 50% wouldn't. So that's sort of in keeping with just life, if I'm honest. So I'm happy with that. So, conclusion of this little bit. Hold my hands up. This is imperfect, pragmatic work. Long-term adherence is difficult, and the quality of life measures were largely unchanged. But there was an improvement in gait speed. If we improve gait speed, we reduce the risk of falls. We improved balance. And if we can do this, we can really, really make a long-term impact on people's condition. So what we're doing now as a service is if you turn up in our clinic, we look at your walking speed. If you're in that below 1 metre per second speed, we're probably going to encourage you to get on a treadmill with us. And we're looking at those ways to involve people that are using walking aids. I appreciate I am looking at a part of the population of Parkinson's disease. Those that are using walking aids, hang on to your hats. We have a plan, but it's slightly more difficult to execute, and I'm trying to blag some extra equipment. This, though, summarises it nicely. This is one of my patients. These things, she means exercise, require effort, which is sometimes inconvenient and a pain. She emphasised pain. I'd like to slightly downplay that. but to my mind, worth it for even a small improvement or benefit, and people with Parkinson's should give it a go. Now, can I got 30 seconds still? Yeah, good. Oh, I talk fast, sorry. I talk fast, but I talk like a South Londoner, I do apologise. I wouldn't be a good physio unless I finished with a little bit of a PR stunt, okay? Exercise is vital. If you're sitting here with Parkinson's, RBD, you're a relative, you're a medical professional, we should all be exercising, and it is really hard. Treadmill hits a certain group of the population, and we need to do it. But I would like you just to think about these things, okay? Sitting here today, everyone should be exercising. You need an exercise plan A and plan B, okay? Plan A is your good day, you're feeling great. Plan B, had an awful night's sleep, the cat needs taking to the vet and somebody's sick in the family. You still need to be able to fit in your exercise. Think about it on the good day. What's your plan A day? What's your plan B day? Please integrate it into your routine. It's hard. What we're asking as physiotherapists is really hard. We appreciate that. So how can we integrate it into your routine? Involve friends, family, peers. There's a reason exercise groups are encouraged. It's because we are much better compliant when we're with others. We work harder when somebody else is sweating next to us. And find something you enjoy, okay? I don't mind what it is. If you want to take up aggressive frisbee or whatever it is, I don't mind just exercise. And this lady sums it up. No challenge, no change, okay? This is not one of my patients, how I wish it was. Last thanks. I have to thank our patients. Our patients were very tolerant to us. 6 weeks going on a treadmill is hard work, so thank you to our patients, our gyms, our physiotherapy assistants who did a huge amount of the work, and the BRC for funding it. And if you have any questions, I'll be at the end. But if you have any more individual questions around exercise, come and catch me or my colleague Beth at the end, because exercise is best prescribed and flexed to people individually. So come and grab us. We won't bite. All right, thank you.